Adventure in the Amazon. Victor Smith was one of the most famous wildlife scientists. He had spent several years in the forests around the Amazon. His latest expedition sought to study the population of dolphins in River Amazon. Therefore, he and his team had made camp near the river bank. One morning, the quiet of the forest was shattered by a human scream. The members of Smith's expedition rushed out of their tents. They gasped in horror at the sight in front of them. One of the young interns, Michael, was dangling upside down from a nearby tree. A long green boa constrictor was wrapped around his leg and had dragged him up the tree. It could crush him within seconds. At once, Smith grabbed his rifle and took a careful aim. Bang! The shot rang out and everyone held his breath. Then slowly, Michael dropped down to the ground. The boa constrictor was killed. The Vikings. Many centuries ago, from the misty north came the Vikings. People in the little fishing village had heard the stories of attacks on other villages along the coast and were scared. One morning, a fisherman saw shapes emerging from the mist. It was a fleet of Viking ships. He quickly roused the other villagers. Within an hour, 5 huge Viking ships docked at the harbor. 10 minutes later, a horde of huge warriors with axes and swords trooped towards the village to plunder it. How could a handful of poor fishermen protect the village? When the Vikings were about 10 feet away from the village, a huge fishing net fell on top of 4 attackers. The Vikings could not move or cut the net, as when they tried to stand, they fell on each other. The 4 Vikings were trapped by the fishermen like fish in a net. Impressed by their bravery and intelligence, the Vikings agreed never to attack the village. Chain Snatchers. Meena was walking home from the bus stop when she heard the sudden roar of a motorcycle. She was instantly cautious. There had recently been a spate of chain snatching and robberies by motorcyclists. They would just speed past and grab the ornaments from pedestrians. As the noise of the engine came closer, Meena clutched hard onto the single gold chain she was wearing around her neck. A moment later, an arm flashed out and grabbed the chain. But before he could speed off, Meena grabbed hold of his arm. As the chain snatcher revved his bike to speed away, Meena pulled on his arm with all her strength. Surprised, the thief was caught off balance and fell off the bike sideways as it skidded onto the sidewalk. The onlookers were stunned for a moment, but then rushed forward to help. The police came soon after and took the thief away. Everyone praised Meena for her bravery and quick thinking. Plane crash in Tenerife. A 747 jet was ready for a takeoff at Tenerife when the pilot saw another jet coming into land. But surely, air control would have told him to change his course. With every second, the planes came closer. Still, there was no directive from the air control tower. 5 seconds later, it was already too late. Neither plane could be stopped now. The pilot of the 747 continued to taxi instead of taking off. For a moment, it seemed as if the planes would miss each other. Then, with a sickening crunch, the landing craft ripped off the top of the 747 before landing on its left wing. Fortunately, the occupants who were unharmed ran out quickly. Meanwhile, the 747's pilot fought to control his aircraft, slowing down to a stop. Moments after the passengers and crew had to run to safety, the crushed 747 burst into flames as well. The survivors were in shock, but thanked the pilot, whose skill and determination had saved their lives.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.